Well, this is incredible that it's already a year, October 7th. And I'm thinking about this, the somberness of this. Eran, we're certainly looking forward to hearing from you. Just seeing about that there's 728 troops, IDF troops have been killed in this past year. There's 26,000 rockets that have been fired into Israel in this past year. Of course, there is the hostage situation, which is how many more are yet still in hostage and that are alive, plus many other things that we could talk about. But and yet today still rockets are being shot from Hamas in Gaza towards Israel, even as far as Tel Aviv. So we want to hear from Iran. We want to pray. We want to believe that God is good. I want to just quote the scripture that was gripping me this morning. It was it's Psalm 22 verse 3, and it talks about that he's enthroned in the praises. God is exalted on the praises of Israel. Interesting, because it actually specifically says Israel, praises of Israel, the people of Israel. And so I don't know, in the midst of this, we're like, let's find that place of prayer and let's find that place of praise. So Iran, really happy to hear from you today on this 1-year anniversary of October 7th. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you, Patricia. It's good to see you all in this very, very hard and sad day in Israel. Even in that moment, this is the fact that Rachel is not here. I'm still in Ariel, but Rachel was going out and she caught by a siren. It was like a couple of minutes ago, a ballistic missile that came from Yemen and from Tel Aviv, the area of Tel Aviv and the area of where Rachel is living, which is north to Tel Aviv, everybody was in the shelters. And so this is the reason that she's not joining us. But even this moment, the bombs are continue to fall in the north, in hundreds of them, and from Yemen it's continue to be now. And in the morning, like you say, Patricia, we have a missile attack that fell in Tel Aviv and the area from Gaza after a year. And this is such a frustration for us here in Israel. It's such a, you don't see the end of that. This is the issue. And today is the 7th of October. And as you say, we have generally 1,685 people that was killed and murdered. We have 882 civilians that were killed. We have 728 soldiers. We have another police, 75. In the beginning, they was taking hostages, 255 people hostages back to Israel, 154, 37 of them are dead. And I think one of the things that we are dealing in the NLC now is the amount of people that are injured. We have from the 7th of October, we have 10,056 injured people, soldiers, individuals that go to the hospital. In the Israeli society, this is huge numbers, very big ones. And everyone knows somebody. Everybody is something that we are grieving. Like my son was injured, Jonathan, first in the leg and then in the post trauma. And this is a very hard day. In a 1.5 hours is going to be the memorials ceremonies in Israel all over, and everybody is going to stop and remember that. And we connected this memory to Yom Kippur, the day of a spiritual reckoning or holding ourselves, and a day of Atonement and in Judaism. Yom Kippur, it's a very, very powerful day, as you know. It's a day that we look inside and ask ourselves questions and looking for forgiveness. It symbolizes repentance, forgiveness, and return to embrace of God. And this is something that we are very focusing. And my feeling is that we are partnering that very much, bringing people back to God. And in October, where all the people was taking and injured and killed, we was reading Isaiah, there is no peace, save God, for the wicked. And it was wicked, and the bad people and the devil is around us, is surrounded us, and this is something that we have 1 year after that. And yes, we hit them. Yes, we give them. They're suffering from us, and they didn't saw everything. There is a lot of more in the IDF, but it's a day. It's a day today that again I'm connected. It's a day that it's connected the sorrow, the deep sorrow, but with the hope and the healing recovery. In the chapter 121, we said, I lift my eyes to the mountains, from where will be my help will come. My help comes from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. And this is what we express, the hope, the salvation from God alone. Just Him can be it. And the heavy mourning and the deep sorrow of this day, combined with the call of deep interpretation of Yom Kippur, this is something that the state of Israel now, a day of grieving. A lot of tears is happening today. A lot of the families of the people that lost their dear ones, and the people that are there, and we are very, we see that in the NLC every day. By the way, yesterday we opened the NLC. We have a group of teachers that came yesterday, 2 groups of teachers, 40 educators that came from the south, from the area of Akim and Ashkelon, and they came today. There is I don't know how to say that in English, but when parent lost his child, there is a sentence that called a grieving parents. And yesterday in the NLC here, they were speaking about the grieving educator, the grieving teacher. There is a students that you have for 2, 3, 4 years that you are see how he's growing, and then he's go to the army. And this educator that see themselves as leaders, they see themselves as a family, suddenly see themselves. Yesterday in the NLC, the conversation was how they can heal after they lost sons and daughters, not them personally, but the students that they have for long years. And yesterday it was a lot of tears here with the grieving educators. And for me, it was such an amazing inspiration to see how a teacher that is educator that see the children like his own children, that he leads them, that he care about them. And yesterday they was promising to themselves that they are going to be crying today, grieving today, praying today, and tomorrow they are going back to the classrooms, to the new students that they have, encourage them for the 7th of October. And this was a mental preparation for them to be here. And for me, it was such a bliss to see what we are doing here. We didn't plan to do it. We didn't know that even teacher needs to do and know what we are doing. And yes, they came here. And today we have an amazing day in the NLC. We have 50 intercessors that came to the National Leadership Center for all over the world. They came from Africa, China, Turkey, a lot of places around the world. Like it was 50 people that came from Tom Hess group that coming for Israel. And for 2 hours, we was praying together. And to me, to stand here on the hills of Ephraim with the fellows Christian people that came, and it was worship music here. It was singing, it was songs, it was praying together, and it was amazing to me. And I say to my staffs, look, there is people from China that are praying for Israel, people in South Africa that know to speak in Hebrew. I will send to Patricia, and if you want to share that, Patricia, you can do it. You know, we was praying in 6-7 different languages for Israel. We was praying Psalms 100 in a couple of languages. So, and tomorrow we have a group, and you know, we have a lot of strength to open that. My trainers are really, you know, everybody is really strong, but you know, yesterday to see the teachers and to hug them and to love them and to appreciate them and to see how much they care, it was amazing day. And this was a preparation day for a huge day that we are going to have in the 6th of November, that is going to be here 120 educators that are going to come after these people, because they understand that here in the National Leadership Center, it's a safe place for them to share their vision and to share their feelings, to share and to pray together. And I showed yesterday to my team how much it's easy to pray. Thank you, Sharon. Where are you? How much it's easy to pray. You know, I started today because people don't feel comfortable yet, and it's not really the appropriate. And yesterday I came to them and said, can we pray together? And the eyes was open. I said, if it's okay, I want to pray to God that is going to take care of the hostages. And I want to pray to God that is going to take to the IDF soldiers. And I want to pray for the mothers that are crying and grieving. And God, please help the students of this teacher to heal. And I pray that we are going to live in here in shalom and peace. And everybody claps their hands. And suddenly, it was so simple to pray and to say something without somebody will say that you are doing something wrong. And I think this is the time of see the heart of the people are open to that, and see the heart of stone becoming a heart of flesh. People have a desire for something stable. And I was saying today to the people here and to my staff that God is stable. Why we are looking far beyond, you know, you don't need to take a telescope and look far away. God is the most stable thing that we have in our life. And yes, it's a hard time, and yes, it continues to be hard. But I think the prayer, the foundation of JH Israel, the thing that we are bringing with us and impact the nation, this is something. And again, I told that before, and I'm telling that again. I had the struggles with that, how to pray, if it's appropriate to pray, if too good to pray. And Sharon Turner that here said to me, it's just simple, just do it, just come and do it, and don't announce and don't make a big issues about it. And I think this is very important for us to pray. And I choose to do the holy thing. And the holy thing is, if you are and again, this is something that I'm doing in my family with the boys especially, is if you are praying 20 minutes, pray 25 minutes in a day. And if you are going to the synagogue in Rosh Hashanah, let's come in Shabbat also. And you are going to, you know, the small things, but do it more. If you are give charity, 10%, give 15%. And if you have a couple of, you know, just do more for God. And I think that as much as we are going to do more and go out a little bit for our convenience area and do more for God, we are going to win. And this is, by the way, the environment in Israel. You see, this day it's a lot of tears there, but there is a lot of people that are going proud since 2 weeks ago when the beeper attack was started and what's happening in Lebanon. People are going proud. You know, people are going with smile to the shelters. People are going to smile to reserve. People are going with faith back to the army. And it's amazing to see the people are going and coming here to the NLC, to Judea, and to the hills of Ephraim, and there is war outside. Judea and Samaria is on fire. It's really something that is under the radar, thank God, because the IDF is doing thing here that I'm not sure that in a daily basis they can do. But it's a fire here in Judea and Samaria. There is a lot of attacks, but people are feeling comfortable to come to the NLC. Why? Because it's an oasis in the midst of the storm. And people come here, they put in the phone so they don't see all the pushes and all the notification. They're just focusing on each other. They're just focusing on how to make fun, how to smile. And more than that, there is basic thing that we forgot that we can do easily, but we have a group last week of parents and teens, widows and orphans, and one of the mother was falling, like was hanging but falling, and she's struggling, and then she reached her hand and she said to her daughter, please help me. And the child, of course, gave her a hand, bring it back, and they hug. And when they go down, she said to us, thank you very much. I was crying, I was grieving. I forgot that I can ask for help. And today I ask my daughter to help me, and I will pray to God to help me. And I'm start to grieve, and I start to act myself as a mother. I reach my hand and somebody hold me. And for me, it was a lesson for life. And for me, if one mother that lost her dear one, her husband, and she can be strong as a lion, but in the end of the day, when she is going to sleep, she is going to sleep alone, and nobody help her. Now she knows that somebody can help her. It can be her daughter, it can be her sister, but the big yes, it can be God inside that. And I hope and pray that we are going to have the privilege to continue to do what we are doing here in the National Leadership Center. The war is not end, and it's not going to end in the next month. But I'm opening the gates every day. And if people not coming, I'm standing there and I'm praying that will somebody come. But we are going to continue to open the NLC. We are going to continue to heal the people. And we are going to tell the story of God and the promise to Abraham and to Jewish people, and to understand. And this is something that also every day we see that people that was inside Gaza and was fighting, when they're coming to here, they're opening, they share their feelings, but they understand why they are fighting. And when they are leaving that here after crying and tears, they are coming like lions, strong, back to the bus, back to the fight. And this is our small role. And for me, it's such an inspiration to think about Heather Johnston that came here to the city of Ariel, that it's a small city in Judea and Samaria. It's a capital, but it's small. And when the Ministry of Education said to Heather Johnston, if he wants to build something meaningful, do it in Tel Aviv, do it in Haifa, do it in Jerusalem. And Heather said to them, no, we are going to build here because the prophecy is speaking about this place particularly. And today I saw the people that coming from the fourth quarter of the world to prayer here is in the hills of Ephraim. I see the Ethiopian kids, the Russian kids, all the people are gathering here in Judea and Samaria in the capital of things. And think about that 15 years ago, 20 years ago, without resource, just with faith and vision. Now we have more than 115,000 people that came. We have in this war more than 6,000, 7,000. We are going to get hit to the 8,000 people that came in the middle of the war, in the middle of the storm. Why? Because if you are acting bold with the word of the Lord and the vision that God put in your heart,
I think Aran's Wi-Fi is been interrupted. We'll see if he comes back.
Okay, so,
There you are. Okay, yep, that was a little bit, go ahead now. You can see and
so
can hear you
just
now.
to finish and to say to you, I was telling that to Itamar, my son, that saying to me, "Oh, Abba, I was brought to God." And I say to him, Itamar, to prayer to God and to work God is not a hobby. It's not something that you're doing the weekend. Let's do it every day. Let's pray to God every day. Let's work for him every day. Let's bless him. Let's love him every day. Let's don't forget where we started and what he's doing. And I'm feeling very blessed. And I would like to say to you again, I saw today brothers and sisters from all over the world praying for Israel. And I say to you in this particular day, in this hard day, as in a personal level, without you all, I cannot make the day. Without knowing that you are standing next to me, next to the nation, holding us, praying for us, I have to tell you, and again, we are celebrating, not in a good way, but a year of conversation and talks. And I think this is something, this is a place to say to Patricia, thank you very much for doing that, for holding that for Israel. And I said this brotherhood is something that we have to not take, and we have to believe that we are brothers and sisters. Really, we are family. And your responsibility is to take care of us as your brothers and sisters. So Patricia, thank you very much for all what
Wow,
you are doing and the prayer that you are leading.
thank you.
And I see Sharon here that I
Yes,
love you and adore you very much. Thank you very much for the prayers that you are leading, and friend Sonia, and each and every one of you. May the Lord bless you and your family. And know,
wow.
and we can meet here in 10 years. Everyone that is standing here, he will be blessed by the Lord and his children's and their children's. You are going to be blessed. Why? Because in the junction, critical junction in history, you stand with us, with the Jewish people. You protect us with your prayer. You cover us like an iron dome of a spiritual protectness from God. And I will not forget it for you. And there is a lot of Jewish people that admire and really love you all. And by the way, we are fighting together the mutual battle against the devil. The devil now is in Paris, in London, in New York City, in LA, wherever you're going to go. You know, I spoke today with a Turkish guy that loved Jesus, but cannot say that because he afraid to his life.
Right.
This is the battle between the light and the darkness. And we are going to win. I know that. God told me that, and we are going to continue to fight. So thank you very much, Patricia. And I'm
Thank
praying
you.
today for shalom, shalom, shalom.
Wow.
This is the word, shalom, for the heart, for the people, for the children, for the mothers. Shalom. This is my prayer today, my word today. Shalom.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Patricia.
Thank you. You know, Aran, just before you hop off, you talked about that. You actually mentioned the word telescope and then prayer. And it reminded me of this quote from Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton said this: I can take my telescope of millions of miles into space, but I can go away to my room and in prayer get nearer to God and heaven than I can when assisted by all the telescopes of earth. So thank you for that amazing reminder about prayer. Thank you so much, God. Thank you for Aran's leadership for the National Leadership Center, which is such a display of Isaiah 61. I will give beauty for ashes. And that's what we want to pray, that this was a day of ashes, and yet may the Lord somehow, some way bring beauty. So thank you. Thank you. Sharon, why don't you unmute and pray for Aran, and we will continue to pray.
Thank you, Eran. Thank you for that great report. And we're standing on the wall with you. And I love that you're telling those that come to the NLC how simple prayer is. I do the same thing with my grandchildren. When they don't know what to pray, I just say, cry out to the Lord. And it's an interesting study. If you ever want to do a great study on in the Old Testament of all the times the Lord just says, cry out. And
Yeah.
and you just call on his name. It's as simple as that. So we call on you right now